What up? What up? This is Golden Spaces, Odyssey Original Podcast. We are here. We are frustrated a little bit because tonight the Warriors took an L at home to the Chicago Bulls, 125 to 122. The Bulls come in and shock the Warriors on the second night of a back-to-back for both teams. Pretty much behind hot shooting from the entire Bulls team. They hit 16 threes, 44%. The Warriors just couldn't guard them tonight. Vucevic got whatever he wanted. He dropped 33 points. DeMar DeRozan got whatever he wanted. He dropped 33 points, took 11 free throws, getting guys in the air, pump fakes, doing whatever, like literally getting whatever shot that he wanted at any point.
Mm-hmm.
And then all the other guys just hit timely three after timely three after timely three. And yeah, we'll get into that a little bit, but obviously the story now of the game is Steph was injured. Hopefully just something minor. And he's not missing time, but tweaked his ankle on a drive late in the game, couldn't finish the game, had to come out. And, it was a pretty hard limp. Even though he was walking on his own power, it was a pretty hard limp. So most likely probably not going to play the next game, I'm going to assume, because he needs to rest probably anyway.
Right.
And, we were talking about this earlier about like knocking on wood and saying like, hey, each of the last few seasons, Steph has gotten hurt and he's missed more or less a significant chunk of time every time. And this is the only year in the last few years where that hasn't happened. And now he's hurt. So hopefully this isn't like an extended absence, because they need every win that they can get to get out of the play-in and to get into better positioning going into the playoffs. But just a overall L of a night for the Warriors.
Yeah.
Dallas wins, I believe.
Yeah.
Another team that was like in our
Sacramento
won.
Mm-hmm.
And the Warriors lost. So they gained a game on us.
The Suns won.
The Suns won. So the gap got widened a little bit. And Steph is potentially going to miss some time now. So this is just not a great night for the Warriors. But I guess we can get into the game itself and the sequence and everything that happened. What did you see? Like, what stood out to you for this game?
For some reason, like you said, like DeRozan just, would get everything, but just in totality, Chicago was just, no one was missing. Everybody could shoot all of a sudden, like everybody who can't possibly shoot that well. Like you said, Javon Carter, like what? Since when? What is all of this? Just making shots left and right. But then also we needed to play a little bit more disciplined on the defensive side. We ended up turning that around in the second half. You really saw that happen where Moses Moody just, broke out of his shell, getting back-to-back steals and everything, and really turning the game around. Our bench really was a catalyst here of turning the game around and getting us back into it after we took such a huge lead. But the standout to me really is just certain pockets that we just didn't stay locked in on defense and weren't disciplined enough. JK falling for pump fakes. It's just, we don't need that. And, sticking your hands up on defense, buddy. No tap, 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 tap. No, you're not that level yet of a defender that, you could just be tapping at DeRozan like that. So, yeah, that part of it.
Yeah, just one of those nights. They just seem like not necessarily a step slow, but just like out of position and constantly in rotation. A lot of it was DeRozan causing double teams because he couldn't be stopped one-on-one. He was hitting a lot of shots, just getting to a spot in the mid-range, playing a very veteran, high IQ game, getting to his spots. So they started doubling, and then from there, it was just rotation. Also, Vucevic, like, running that pick and roll with whoever, they had to react to, one, he's a good screener, so they had to react to
Mhm.
whoever was driving, and then secondly, you got to react to him because he can shoot, he can pick and pop, and he can pick and kind of play in that middle area and still hit a shot. So he was causing a lot of rotations, and they were just completely, off their square defensively. 30
Yeah.
point difference from tonight and last night, right? They only gave up 95 to the Bucks and gave up 125 to the Bulls in regulation. Not a good defensive performance at all. Had a few goaltends in there. Uh,
Yeah.
they were just, just weren't on it. And you give credit to the Bulls. They hit a ton of shots, like we said, timely
Mhm.
threes especially. But just overall, they just did not feel the Warriors' presence at all, like defensively. So they got to go back to the drawing board and just, get back onto that defending mode, because this is not the time of year to go up and down.
Right,
You
right.
gotta be constant. You got to be ramping up for the playoffs, and you got to be playing your best basketball. Looking at some individual performances, let's start with Steph. Like Steph didn't really have it going early in the game. It looked like the fatigue was getting to him a little bit. He's only missed 3 games so far this season, which is crazy. Uh,
Yeah.
just for one, from a health standpoint, two, just from like an age standpoint, it's like he probably could have used the rest game here and there, but he didn't have it going early. And then, third quarter, he started picking it up a little bit, started
Mhm.
shots. And, overall, he was still making a positive impact. But when he's not hitting shots at a high clip, it's going to be hard for the Warriors to just, play their style of basketball. Even though they still put up 122, him shooting and scoring puts the other team in such a disarray that, it makes everybody else's job a lot easier, especially defensively. They get to set up their
Mhm.
defense and all that type of stuff. So Steph didn't necessarily have the best individual game. He obviously got hurt later on in the game. We hope he's going to be okay. Um, Looking at other players, for some reason, I guess they're capping Wiggins' minutes.
I was just gonna ask about that because he was in and then he wasn't.
Yeah, he only played 15 minutes. He looked fine physically, but
Yeah.
he only played 15 minutes. I'm assuming it's just like a ramping up type of thing. But offensively he was okay. He was good, but defensively he could have been better. And I
Yeah.
think that's where he got to really hone in on and just have that motor defensively, so he can. So guys like DeRozan don't give us 33 points.
Right.
Like,
But you saw how in the third quarter how we started, Wiggins was picking up DeRozan full court.
mhm.
Um, so even in that short bit of time, we started to make inroads on the defensive end, and you saw, okay, everybody is like, all right, let's play some defense here, guys. And so
Mhm.
you saw that, and then, like you said, he must be on a minutes restriction because then after a while we just didn't see him any longer.
Yeah, yeah, and it was the same. I think minutes total last game as well. So hopefully they can ramp him up as
Hmm.
quickly as possible because they need what he can bring to the table. Draymond was like on one a little bit tonight. He had 6 he ended up fouling out. For those who did not know, he ended up fouling
Yeah.
out. He did have a triple double with 2 blocks and 1 steal. So he was out there playing well individually, but the whole Vucevic thing is also like, we probably could have used some better defense on Vuce, but he's also
Hmm.
helping an awful lot. I don't know. I think he's going to bounce back, but it wasn't the best game from Draymond, despite his numbers saying otherwise. Jonathan Kuminga, another strong performance, 19 points and 10 rebounds. He's really been boarding a lot more. I think he's kind of taking it upon himself to make sure he gets in the mix a little bit more, which is good for the team.
Hmm.
And he showed, once again, he's the only guy on the team that can get fouled, or at least that can get foul
And
called.
right, I was gonna say that they'll actually call it
Yeah.
because there was some stuff happening, and Curry went to the line once or twice in this game, I think. And he had been driving, and DeRozan was getting that call, not Curry.
Mm-hmm. Steph's
So,
whistle is, it remains a mystery. Don't really get it at all. He was getting what, a fake push in the back. call on the rebound when he
Right, right.
actually Craig. Just weird stuff with Steph that just are just completely inexplainable.
And DeRozan whacks Kaminga literally on the arm. No call. Like,
Mm-hmm.
no call. But story of our lives, story of our lives. But
Mm-hmm.
Trace
Yep.
Jackson, right? That's who you're going to next. Go ahead.
I was
Go.
gonna go to Moses Moody, but
Well,
Trace was fine.
either way, either way.
Either way. Trace was fine. Again, the whole Vucevic thing, like he was just kind of cooking everybody. So I wouldn't really say any of our bigs was like amazing out there, but Trace had his moments for sure. He led a break and got a got an assist on a break as a ball handler, which is
Mhm.
funny to watch. He played 18 minutes. They've completely removed Loon and Dario from the rotation, so he got all of the backup big minutes, which is what we've
Mhm.
been asking for. 8 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, and it was a solid performance. Uh, yeah, what are you going to
Yeah,
say?
I was gonna say, I really thought that Trace played pretty well.
Mhm.
uh, getting getting put in a lot earlier than he's accustomed to, playing, a lot more minutes. But I thought his time out there was really impactful. He's getting and ones. He's making the right reads. He's causing, some havoc at the rim, making them, have to switch up their shots or whatever. So I thought his minutes were really good.
Okay, okay. Um, he has
And
to.
you disagree, because
I
that's
don't
what I
disagree.
hear. That's what I hear in your voice, Justin. Mhm, mhm.
I don't necessarily disagree. He did have 4 fouls, so he gotta chill a little bit on some of the jumping for the blocks, like always jumping for blocks. It's like you gotta,
Mhm, mhm.
feign it a little bit sometimes just to throw an offensive player off because once you get in the air, you're at the mercy of gravity at that point. Like you're just
Right.
you sometimes you're gonna get foul calls. So he got to work on that. Moses came off the bench, high energy, right? Like 9 rebounds.
Yep.
5 offensive rebounds, 10 points. He was going out there trying to make stuff shake.
Yeah.
And I think a key thing is this is funny because earlier in the season, we ran into the same issue with Moses playing well enough to keep us in the game or bring us back in the game. And then when it's time to win the game, he gets taken out.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
They took him out, I believe, for pods. And
Mhm.
I'm sure there will be a clip on Twitter or people will be talking about it. Pods missed the game tying layup that would have
Y
made it 121 to 121, pretty much wide
yeah.
open. Uh,
Yeah, not pretty much wide
yeah,
open.
wide open layup, missed it.
A super great seal by
Right.
TJD,
Hmm.
okay, to give you that, just lay it up. Why are we trying to be fancy? Just
Yeah.
play it up. I know he saw Vooch there, but you've already beaten him to the spot. Like, it was so perfectly set up. It was,
Hmm.
oh
Yeah,
my
it was one
gosh.
of those. How did the Bulls just let us get a layup here type of thing, and then we just blew it. But yeah,
Yeah. Mm,
guys got
yeah.
to guys got to get better with their offhand on this team. It's just it's a pandemic on this team. Guys can't use their offhand to score. Yeah, Moses Moody should have been in the game.
Yeah.
I'd say he got to get his 3-point shot back. I think just all the energy he's exerting on defense and stuff is probably taking his legs a little bit and throwing his rhythm off with his shot. But he's doing so many of the other things well that you just got to play him. And he should have been at the end. That's all I'll say about that. Uh,
Yeah.
Gary got to get into his groove as well because he didn't have a good game at all.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on with Gary, because he's yeah, he hasn't been quite on point like we're accustomed to seeing him be. So
Hmm.
yeah, he's got to get right. Like, shake off whatever is going on, and let's get right, especially against the Spurs, because they're gonna be moving that ball.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I don't think Wemby's playing, so that should be an easy win if everybody takes it, seriously and brings it. But moving to the two old guys coming off the bench, the two Hall of Fame guards, Chris Paul and Klay Thompson. Klay started off hot, hit his first 3 shots. They were all threes, I think.
mhm.
and
Yeah.
then went like 3 for 14 after that. Like,
Yeah.
and they were like all open shots. This is something with Clay this season
Yeah.
where his open shot percentage is way down from his career markers and is way down from what he even did last year. Um, and that's kind of been the tune that I've been singing all season with him. It's like it's not necessarily about the bad shots that he's taking. Like, yes, there are times where he can take some shots that are better, but he's shooting above league average on contested shots. It's the open shots that he's shooting like way below. Like he's shooting like 35%, 36% on open threes.
Wow.
Klay Thompson, we're talking about, right? Like those
Yeah.
should be like 45%. So he got to get that together. It maybe is something with his legs in terms of like getting some lift and things like that, but he got to get that together. But he did lead the team in scoring tonight, 25 points. He hit the shot that put them up at the end, and then DeRozan proceeds to just score and get an and one immediately after that. But that should
Because
have been
JK not being disciplined
in,
there.
yeah.
Just put your hand up. Just stay down.
Mm-hmm.
If it goes in, it goes in. But at least we still have another opportunity to
Yep.
force that issue. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That got me. That got me. Sorry.
With DeRozan, he's one of those guys. He pump fakes you so many times.
Mhm.
Like when you're in the heat of the moment, like they always
Right.
say, stay down, stay down, stay down. I'm gonna stay down. But one of them pump fakes is probably gonna get you. But the thing is with him is like you said, if he makes it, he makes it. Wait until he's risen up into his shot and leaves his feet, then jump and contest. Because you're probably not gonna block it anyway. So just wait until he shoots, then you contest. It might throw him off, honestly. But
Mhm.
at least he won't get you with that pump fake. But yeah, they got with the pump fake so many times tonight from DeRozan, and he ended up beating them with it. So it is what it is. This isn't one of those. I mean, it is one of those flush it type of losses, but it ain't like Boston where it's like, yeah, whatever. We already did our thing on the road trip, so we can worry about the other
Yeah.
games. This is one of the games. It's like you're supposed to win.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we were talking
Like
about this.
we booked it already. Like
Yeah,
we,
literally
you
booked it.
know.
It's like, okay, we're playing the Bulls, we're playing the Spurs, yada yada. Those 3 wins, we already wrote it into the record.
Exactly. Good thing I used pencil, you know?
Exactly. So that one hurt. Now you got to go win the game, one of those games where you're not necessarily guaranteed or supposed to win.
Right.
Um, they played Dallas 3 times, play the Lakers again twice, 2 more times.
Mhm.
Win most of those games, and you should be fine. And this one won't hurt as much, but could have had it. Could have had it. Yeah. Chris Paul, he was decent. He had 15 points. He was hitting shots. He hit a 3 late
He
that
did.
made it a little
Yep.
bit more interesting as well. And 5 assists, 4 rebounds. He's doing. I think him and Klay. He and Klay are just doing what they're supposed to do off the bench, which is provide offense
Yeah.
and provide a different look when the starters go to the bench. But yeah, I mean, I think just in general, on to the next game. Hopefully, Steph is healthy and they can get back into a groove with Wiggins ramping up. Because what did we say? Like they just
Like we just got everybody back. We just got everybody back.
they just got everybody back. So
Oh Lord.
always something with the team. It's always something with this team. We got a little mailbag action. We'll get into that. We only got a few questions, but we'll look at these and see what we can do for you guys. So question number 1 is coming from Candlestick Will. Shout out to Candlestick Will. He is a legend on Twitter. Warriors fan legend. He said, now that we know the top 10 in rotation, what's a 5-man lineup you want to see together more? And who are with Steph and GP2 in that lineup? Interesting. Okay.
Is he saying who's with Steph and GP2?
I
Are
think he's
they
asking
in?
2 questions. Like,
Okay.
what's a 5-man group that you want to see, like, just
Oh,
consistently
see,
more?
kind of like, let's see more of this here.
And separate who are the other three players that you would like to see next to Steph and GP2, I guess, in their
Oh,
lineups?
in their line. Okay. All right.
Mhm.
You could go first because I got to think about this on who I think I might want to see together more.
Mhm.
Uh,
Well, we kind of got a glimpse of it before Steph got hurt and before Moody got yanked. I think the trio with Moody and JK is a really good lineup. I think you have length, athleticism. It's similar to the original starters before Paz got put in
right.
for Clay, but Moody at this point just plays with such a higher motor than Wiggins does at this point. That I just like the energy that he brings in that lineup.
Yeah.
I would like to see that a little bit more to see what that can do. And in terms of, Steph and GP2, I think we saw this the other night. Like Steph, GP2, Draymond is obviously another one that's needed with those two guys. And then, a shooter, Clay, and probably Wiggins. I think that would
Yeah.
be a pretty good lineup there.
I think we see that from time to time anyway. So
Mhm.
yeah, but no, I like that first group that we did see, and that I think they were the ones that sparked that run to bring us back. And I think CP3 was still in that lineup, but
Mhm.
we saw Curry with JK and Moses and Draymond, I think was in that mix, or was it TJD? But that's a good little group there.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
So
this team is
it could
deep.
be
It's a lot of
something.
combos. Yeah, it's a lot of combos they can go to. The thing that I just don't want to see anymore is like lineups where it's no Steph, no Clay, and no JK. It's like those are your three top scorers. One of them needs to be on the court at all times. Preferably one of the Splash Brothers is on the court at all times, just from a spacing, gravity, offensive flow standpoint. But if you want to
Yeah,
see both of them at the same time, then JK definitely got to be in there. We can't just be doing anything out there on offense. Like it just doesn't make a ton of
yeah,
sense.
because then there is no offense at that
Right.
point.
Yeah. Then you're just hoping the other team makes some random mistake because
Hmm.
you don't have a built-in advantage with a guy who needs to take two defenders with him. So um, we can go to the next question. This is from Oz28. He says the Suns play Toronto, Boston, at Cleveland, at Boston, at Charlotte, at Milwaukee. The
Ooh.
Dubs play Chicago, San Antonio, at Dallas, at the Lakers. Is it safe to say that stretch can determine the sixth seed? Also, with Cat out, how far can Minnesota drop? Love our chances versus them in the first round. Hmm.
I mean, the Suns got a tough road.
Yeah.
That that's tough. I mean, and we also have a tough road as well. And we've had the most back to backs in the league.
Yeah.
Ma- I don't understand that, but okay, that's not this question. But uh, we've got a tough road. We really do. And we're going to need to, we just got to be on fire
yeah.
to get through that stint right there, because those are some tough teams that have foul merchants. So like we're just going to have to get through that, but we need to come out on top on in that entire run right there. And as far as Minnesota goes, that really sucks for them that Cat went down, because they really have been looking like a really, really good team. Ant seems to say, "Hey, put it on my back. I'm taking us to the promised land." Um, but I still think we have a really good chance going up against them because of their inexperience, even though they've been there that one
Mhm.
little time. But I still feel like there's like
A little
just a
chokiness.
little. Yes, but I mean, and looking at us, can we close out in the fourth quarter? Like, come on. But again, it's a different animal in the playoffs. So
Mhm.
so I do like our chances against them, but I do feel bad for them to lose Cat this late in the season. as they're, just trending upwards like this.
Yeah. Yeah, to say that stretch determines a 6 seed, I mean, that's probably the case, right? I'm
Hmm.
assuming he's asking like, "Hey, the Suns have a really tough 5 or 6, and the Warriors is a little light with the San Antonio ones in there. So if we can take advantage of that, then we can potentially leap the Suns." I think it's going to go down to the last few games,
To the
though.
yeah.
Like, I don't think there's going to be any stretch before the last 2 or 3 weeks of the season where you really know what's going to happen. Um, and as far as Minnesota, they're not going lower than fourth because they just have so many games lead on the field. And the Clippers also dropped a bunch of games recently, so they're probably going to stay in third or higher. To be honest,
Yeah.
I think the sweet spot is the sixth spot for Golden State, though, because it's looking like Denver's going to get first. So just from a like experience standpoint, and you want to kind of avoid Denver for as long as possible and see them in the conference finals if you get there. So if they're going to be first, you don't want to be eighth, you don't want to be fourth or fifth because you'll be in their bracket. So, and I don't think they're going to get anything higher than fourth or fifth anyway. So go for six.
Yeah.
Go for
But
six.
and I don't want it to go down to the wire that
Mhm.
it's like I'd like us to secure a little bit earlier
Yeah,
the sixth seed and not where it's like, okay, these last two games
gotta
we're
win.
gonna need right. Like
Mhm.
I don't want to have that kind of pressure.
Yeah, last
I
year
want to
was
be
something like
in.
yeah, last year was something like gotta win both games. The Lakers gotta lose. The
uh,
Clippers gotta win. You know what I mean? It was
right,
one of those
right.
all the way down to the last game of the season. Don't need that. Don't need that. Need to be chilling a little bit. Next question from Raul Chilapa. Okay.
Raul.
Yes. Should Moody start instead of Pods, in your opinion, if Clay is going to continue to come off the bench?
Mm. Again, Pods could just have a quicker hook. That's really you could start him and
Mm,
just pull him 2 minutes in. Like right now, I just feel like you kind of just keep with your starting lineup right now and keep your bench how it is so that everybody already has a feel of, playing with each other. And again, if Pods really isn't cooking, all right, come out, insert some other player, which it'll be, well, they're trying to keep the bench. So CP3 will not just get in there, but who's to say? I kind of say just leave it as it is
yeah.
because Moody is still getting more minutes now than he has before.
Yeah. Yeah. If it's not Clay, then you can just probably leave it the way it is just because I don't think Moody's going to make that much of a difference instead of Pods.
Hmm.
Um, you know, especially considering like he hasn't been hitting his threes at the same clip that he is expected to. So it doesn't really make that much of a difference from a spacing standpoint. Defensively, he's obviously a better defender than Potts, but I don't think the difference is that big to make that change. Um, we got one more, maybe two. Nope, one more. This is from Politics as Usual.
Hmm,
The question
I
is,
like that.
yeah, the backcourt is going to be crowded with guys who need to play come playoff time. Will Kerr stick to rigid rotations with CP3 and GP2, or will Moody or Lester get a look if the matchup calls for it?
I, I mean, I don't know that Lester is gonna get in the mix
You won't.
unless unless something like
That's somebody hurt.
fluky is happening.
Yeah.
But no, but I
Even
think
though he did get the
he
game tire.
well because he's super fast and they were already doubling Clay. Like
Yeah.
to try to get that to Clay, that would have just been tough.
Hmm.
So you throw in Lester kind of like, hey, and he's quick and he's hit one before. So, you know,
Yeah.
when has Clay hit half court? So
Who
He
knows?
doesn't really do those. So I wasn't mad at that because the focus will be on Clay
Hmm.
in those last seconds. So and maybe if the pass is a little bit better, then Lester doesn't stumble and he can get his feet set a little bit better and maybe he makes it. Who's to
Yeah.
say? But yeah, I don't I think Moses will definitely be in the rotation come playoffs. Like
Hmm.
I see that already happening. I mean, he's been in it the last 2 seasons, so and he
Right.
didn't play, but he's always gotten called up in the playoffs. So yeah, he'll be there.
Yeah, I don't have any type of prediction of Moody being out of their playoff rotation or him having an extended leash is kind of what I'm really thinking about. Like,
Hmm.
will he be able to finish the game if he's playing well already? Because we've already seen multiple times him being a game changer out there and then not having the opportunity to finish. Will Curry's leash with pods be too long? Is also my question. I'm not really worried
Yeah.
about CP3 and GP2 just because they're so smart as
Hmm.
players. I think, you know, they'll know what to do when they're out there. It's more so which young guy is going to play and like what version of that guy are you going to get out there. If
Yeah.
Pods is out there and he's not necessarily giving you a bunch of things defensively and he's not hitting shots and you know what I'm saying, like he probably should be sitting, right? Like
Hmm.
tonight he was
Yeah.
playing tonight he was playing well. So I won't even say anything about that, but like I just think Moses deserved to finish that game and it is what it is. But yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. Lester's not going to play, but Moody will play for sure. Cool.
Agreed. Cool. Cool.
Yeah. So tough loss. On to the next one. They will be playing San Antonio the next two games, one at home and one on the road in San Antonio. They should win both. We'll see what's up with Steph in his potential injury.
Yeah,
I'm
please.
I'm checking Twitter
Yeah.
right now to see if Slater said anything about how he's feeling, but I think so far there are no updates. Well, it says Steve said there's no real update on Steph's ankle. He said Curry had it in a bucket of ice post game, but
Mm.
there's no update on it. So doesn't seem
So
like they're in a rush
uh,
to get an MRI or anything though.
I
Like
was
that.
gonna say, what would your assessment be if, hey, he's got it in a bucket of ice? Is your level of concern super high on something like that, or is it kind of like it might just be one of those like like "Oop,"
Mhm.
but all right, and you wait and see what it looks like in the morning type of deal.
Yeah, I think it's more so that because they would have announced Curry's getting an MRI or something like that. Like
Hmm.
unless they're just waiting for something to announce that. But as of right now, I don't think it's super serious, which is an encouraging sign. But I do think even if it's not super serious, he probably needs to sit the next game.
Yeah,
They should
I
be able to beat the Spurs without him.
right.
So yeah, just sit him, rest him for a little bit.
So with Curry out potentially this next game, who's in the starting lineup for Curry?
Lester. No, I'm just kidding. Chris Paul.
Chris,
Just start Chris Paul. Yeah, just start Chris Paul.
Chris, and then Lester slots in for the bench role because now it's Pods and CP3 starting,
Yeah,
and then Lester comes
that's where
in
it
to
gets a
run
little bit.
that.
That's where it might get a little bit tricky there. But yeah, I mean, I guess you would have to pull Pods a little early.
Hmm.
Pull them a little early. Yeah, for
And
sure.
then this might also open the door for Dario. Eek.
I doubt it. I doubt it. But
I don't
yeah,
know.
the
I
door's
don't
never closed.
know.
The door's never closed, Dario. But
It was tonight.
it was tonight.
Bam. Look. No.
We might have used them. We needed somebody that can hit
Yeah.
threes. But yeah, that's all we got for you guys. Yeah, he ain't been really hitting them, but that's all we got for you
Sorry,
guys
Dar.
tonight. we we appreciate you guys tuning in back to back nights. We wishing we were discussing a win, but it is what it is. We will win the next game and the next one after that. I'm calling it right now.
That's
If
right.
we don't, do not bring this up. But yeah, follow us on our socials. Leave a positive review on YouTube and on wherever you get your podcasts. Vote 5 stars and all that good stuff. Tell a friend, and we will see you guys on the next one. Thanks.
Peace out. Yes.